SpongeBob SquarePants might be one of the most relevant cartoon shows in recent history, but how many references to pop culture have you ignored during the exciting adventures of our marine squared friend? Here's a video in which you can find some of them. Number 1, Gotta Catch 'Em All. During the history of Nickelodeon's masterpiece, there have been many times where Pokémon has been referenced in one way or another. In the famous episode Rock Bottom from the very first season of the show, we can find a brief but representative reference to Nintendo's blockbuster video game. When we are moved to Rock Bottom's bus station
until morning,
we can find a clock that has a strange circular form with red and white colors. Seems quite particular for a clock, so did you get the reference? Those patterns belong to the objects known as Pokeballs, which are a detrimental item during your adventure in any of the video games of the series. Maybe one day we'll see our friend Bob trying to follow Ash Ketchum's footsteps and becoming a Pokemon master. Number 2, let's create a boy band. Video games are not the only thing referenced during the lifespan of the show. How could a cartoon be this good without any music reference? During our main character's period living under the sea, we are presented to the band known as Boys Who Cry. But it all started in the episode Sleepy Time, where Pearl is having a dream in which we can see framed photos of the group that we will later know. Boys Who Cry are a representation of this world's boy bands, which became so popular during the 90s with examples much like NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys. Imagine SpongeBob with a Justin Timberlake-esque attitude leading his own band alongside Patrick and Squidward. For sure, they'll reach Billboard's #1 spot. Number 3, a shaking intoxication. Food intoxications might be one of the most fearsome things that can happen to anyone, but how would it look in a cartoonish environment? During the show's 3rd season episode named Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, we find that the menu from the Krusty Krab includes a dessert named Kelp Shakes. Why is this important? Kelp Shakes are a very famous drink in Bikini Bottom, sold in the building next to the Krusty Krab. Maybe you'll recognize it by its strange bottle-like shape. This shake will later become important in the show because it will cause the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom to become addicted to them, and not only that, they will also be the cause of a big intoxication that will lead people to grow green hair all over the body in the episode Best Frenemies. Whether you are a cartoon protagonist or not, always be aware of what you eat and what you drink. Number 4, know your origins. When you watch a cartoon, the main character always gets the brightest light, but what about the creators of the show? Do they get enough credit? In Season 3's episode Krab Borg, we are introduced to a character named Sherm.
Robot. What if Uncle Sherm is a robot?
Who later will be revealed to be SpongeBob's uncle and a well-known member of the SquarePants family due to his ability to put a watermelon inside his nose. The important thing is that the name Sherm is a reference to the show's producer, Sherm Cohen. How cool would it be to name a character after your own self? Number 5, a spooky friend. SpongeBob SquarePants might be one of the kings of the small screen, but our squared protagonist has made a lot of friends from other media, including one of the most famous pop culture characters ever. In the episode Graveyard Shift, both Squidward and SpongeBob find themselves working the night shift in one of the spookiest situations that they can find. During their night at the Krusty Krab, some of the portraits include a very familiar face, the one belonging to the vampire Nosferatu. Nosferatu was one of the first characters to spark the horror film genre and will always be remembered as an icon of the big screen, adding to the list of the many famous figures that have appeared in Bob's adventures.
Who was flickering the lights?
Nosferatu!
What do you think about these Easter eggs? Were you aware of these references in the show? You can find more in future videos of our channel, so be ready to follow our adventures too.